Hi, welcome to the fourth episode of The Treat Show. I'm J Lo. Joining me is my co host, OG Tyler, in the house. Where's that?
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Oh, such a big, exciting time right now. This is like the most motivated we're going to feel for like a whole year.
Yeah, no, just keep it going though. Keep the positivity, you know.
The sparkles in the air.
Yeah.
Positivity is gonna end up being like them fucking gym memberships everybody got on the fucking second. They already gained out on that shit.
That's so true.
Some
So,
bullshit.
can we introduce our big guest today? OG
Yeah,
Tyler.
let's do it.
I feel like this one's big.
Oh, huge.
Dude, give it to us.
Without further introduction, Duke Diamond in the house.
What's happening?
Dude, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
So, Duke Diamond,
Yeah.
can we start with how did Duke Diamond become the grandiose name that it is?
No, we're gonna start with how Duke Diamond's New Year's was.
All right, it's fair.
I did nothing. I hung out with my dogs, made some food, and just reflected. And it was like, why ain't she drinking? I said, because that's exactly what the fuck they're expecting me to do. So I didn't.
Facts.
So yeah. Just got some, I don't know, game plans together and, shit for work and whatnot. And that's really about it.
Nice.
Nothing, nothing wild like everybody was expecting.
I think like that time of year particularly is the time that I don't want to party. Is like I just want to stay inside and not be
Hell
out in the
yeah.
world.
Amateur night. Every drunk motherfucker in the world is like on their first beer ever. Like driving around, driving drunk and doing stupid shit. That's
It's so
definitely
true.
time for me to just stay at home, stay out the mix.
I like that.
And it's cold.
So cold. So
Yeah,
cold. Do you
man, I
guys
like that.
remember when you were like younger and like there was all these concerts in Colorado or wherever like on New Year's and like I don't know, I just remember like going in and wearing like nothing as like a 19-year-old girl like woo, we're gonna go rage at this dubstep show.
I don't know if Duke or I were going anywhere. We're not wearing anything in a rave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I didn't go. Well, actually, I only went to one rave, and that was just to drop off some weed and then bounce back out. But I definitely had clothes on, and
Well, how was your rave?
um, I don't know. Like I wasn't from that world, nor was I ever exposed to it like at all. So it was just like a big, I guess people call that shit culture shock. So right when I pull up, and this shit was going on out in like this field, out in the middle of nowhere. And as like I'm, looking for dude man who's supposed to be picking up, I got motherfuckers walking up with glow sticks and shit, fucking like flipping them around like all up in my face, and I about started boxing this fucking dude up. And yeah, it wasn't that good really. I didn't partake into the festivities. It's like there's a bunch of badass fucking half naked girls running around. That was cool. But, there's a bunch of fucking weirdo creep motherfuckers running around too. So,
this is true.
yeah, yeah. So that was it. Didn't really join in. And I haven't since then.
That's
I've
probably why your
abstained.
that's probably why your career worked out so well. Is that you stepped away from that scene after one and done.
Yeah, yeah. It was about 20 minutes worth of it, and that was good.
That's about all you need, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it, I heard it, I smelled it, and I was like, no, I'm good, I'm
It's,
straight.
it smells like Teen Spirit, and then you're out of there. Freaking, you know. You're like, whoa,
Oh yeah,
I'm
Whoa.
getting out of here.
yeah, yeah, man.
So, where did you grow up, dude?
A little place called Hanover County, Virginia.
Nice.
Virginia.
Yeah,
It's
I,
got to be
yeah,
strict.
yeah.
and obviously at that time, uh, I mean, weed was illegal, and
Oh yeah.
like what I mean, what was it like, kind of growing up in that area, like being a fan of cannabis?
Um, kind of like almost having to be like on like some secret agent status. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't be out with like what you were doing and stuff, and you really had to think things through. Guys that had like crazy long hair, wore tie dyes everywhere, always ended up in jail and shit like that. So you had to, not you could not look the part. Um, you know, we were all growing and everything, and slinging some considerable weight. So it was like of the utmost, drive a shitty ride and just look the part of, just somewhat clean cut country people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, and it leads to you always got your couple of really tight ride or die friends, but for the most part, you weren't never looking to, go hang out with people and, go out to places and, really make new friends or meet any new people. So, it kind of leads you to be a little more of a reclusive person, which is it's kind of all right by me. I'm not real big extrovert anyway, so um, it kind of fit. I have a couple friends that we all grew together and shit, and just play it low key and get your adrenaline rush doing your thing and chill at the house and try to stay out of trouble, watch some
Yeah.
fucking movies or something.
Can like I can't imagine how difficult that would be though with even like plant waste, or like just going to pick up soil or something. Like I don't know, was it difficult in those regards or like
Oh
was that
yeah, big time. Because like say like people that were like doing stuff like out in the city and everything, um, they make that dumbass mistake of throwing root balls in the trash, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big, big no-no right there. Where I lived, I was fortunate, there's a lot of forest out there. So, I could take root balls, throw it out, and I had a little bit of farmland and big gardens and everything, so I could just take root balls out back and bust them up, right there. Wasn't no big deal. Throw leaves and shit back in the woods, let the deer eat them. They wouldn't last too long. So, in that regard, for me, it was pretty easy. As far as like getting supplies, that's a whole nother matter. Um, Hydro stores were a big no-no.
Mm.
If for whatever reason you absolutely have to, it normally involved with going out of state to another one. Um, with somebody else's car, that wasn't tied to it. Park, a couple blocks away, walk in, get what you need and get out. Um, a lot of the other stuff, it was stuff like from there's a store there called Southern States. Basically, like it used to be like a feed store, and they had some agricultural shit out there for a lot of farming going on in that area. So it wasn't like too out of the way to go in and need like a bunch of say gypsum and you know things of that nature. You could go to this flower shop called Strange's, and we had a buddy that worked there, and he made sure that they stocked the backwater that we needed and everything. So, you definitely had to be on your p's and q's because you fuck up and you know you end up going for that vacation.
Jeez.
I
Yeah.
think that shows like how dedicated, like just beyond like, I mean, a hustle or something, like you really had to have genuinely cared about doing this though. Like if it was so stringent, like you had all those obstacles with just like, yeah, like you said, just getting the bare minimals or like the day to day tasks. Like I feel like it really just shows like a powerful start, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's between that, you had to worry about the cops and everything, of course. Yeah, I worry about people getting hemmed up and snitching and them working their way up the chain to ultimately the grower. You also had to worry about people, maybe jealous, trying to shoot you, kill you, rob you, So there was a lot of little obstacles to get around, but if you kept it low key and played it smart, a little bit calculated about it, you could get it off, no problem,
Was was there like a head shop where you were from, like that, that you could go to and wasn't like sketch at that time, you know?
Yeah, there was one in the city called Culture. It was a cool spot, but it was like Culture with a K. Um, I got sketched out, even going to places like that, and two, like, it was like everything in there was tobacco pipes and shit, like you say
Right.
anything different, they kick you out, and that just, I don't know, I always got sketched out by them places too, so, you know, um, a lot of my wares and everything, it was, joints, because if you were cruising around, and if like the shit was hitting the fan, you can eat a joint, you
Right.
can't eat a glass bowl,
True.
or whatever. So, yeah, so it kept everything to a minimum. It wasn't until right before I got pop growing, where I had some nicer like glass pieces and shit, but I got them out of state and everything, and had a couple roars, a couple Illadelphs, and shit like that.
Roar, I haven't heard that name dropped in so long.
I know.
It was so fire if you were like that cool to have a piece from them. But
Oh yeah.
I feel like backwoods, the reason I smoke those bad boys and don't have all this bougie glass is the same exact reason. Like once you get in trouble, like say 3 times, like then you're like, I can't smoke like this anymore. Like I gotta have something that I can just throw out the window or I don't
Yeah,
know.
eat that fucking thing.
Yeah. Uh,
I
yeah.
can't be eating no weed, but
I
ugh.
would I would eat it if I
Shit.
had to.
Shit, man, you looking at a year in the fucking county fucking eating trees
Yeah.
and fucking shit, man. Yeah, you eat that fucker.
I feel like it's between eating or sticking it somewhere. Like if you have the option to eat anything versus sticking it in a place or space,
It
like
just reminds me of
just
Super Troopers, where the dude's like in the back and he's eating all the freaking mushrooms or whatever, and then like,
that's
Hell
hilarious.
yeah. Yeah, man. The way I see it is, you know, if I eat it, it's coming out that way anyway versus going in and out of that way,
yeah.
That's what's up.
And yeah, it's exit only on me, man. Fucking, I ain't boofing shit. I'm either gonna eat it and get away with it, or I'm gonna go pull some time again.
that that was good.
What what was the first really bomb strain that you smoked, like growing up or in your adult life, like when you were first out there?
I was pretty young, man. It was an NL skunk hybrid and an Afghani and a hash plant. Had all those going around that we were doing outside, and that was all pretty stout fucking weed, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I think like some of the first stuff that I saw like outside of that circle, like later on, um, there was some real bomb white rhino that was kind of in our circle and shit that was like, ooh, that's a little different. I like that. So
I mean,
yeah, it just kind of went from there.
do you think most of that stuff was like coming from Amsterdam?
The seeds.
Yeah, like like the Northern Lights and the White Rhino and all that. Like, I mean,
Yeah, definitely like the seeds for sure. Because like I was like you're sure shot to getting good genetics. You're having to go to sourcing stuff from like Holland and everything. Because you know how it is, man. Prohibition's gonna limit you on what's going on around you.
right.
And then at the time everything was so lax over there with Amsterdam and Switzerland, and all the work was going on over there. So if you were looking for that different thing, it was easily, well, I won't say easily, but obtainable, from over there.
And when you're running all like the Northern Lights, the hash plant, all that stuff, or smoking it, what year is that?
Mm. We talking like 1994,
Okay.
going through 95, 96, and 97, and then going into like 98, starting to see some other different things.
Yeah.
We kind of stuck to what was like tried and true, and had already gotten
It was
over
working.
here, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was working, and we were all outdoor people and everything too. There was some indoor going on, but um, our big thing was getting that outdoor off every year, making some cheddar.
Was anybody making hash back then with any of that stuff, or were y'all all just running it into flour?
Yeah, it was all flour for the most part. You get a little keef box or something like that later on, but yeah, it was all going that route, and a lot of the trim and bullshit weed, that make some can of butter with it, make a whole
Wow,
shit ton of cookies and stuff.
that's wild.
That is well. This is crazy. When did you move to Colorado?
2015.
2015. That's when it was getting wild. It was a year after rec had happened. What was the market was crazy at that time. I'm pretty sure everybody was getting like 4 to 6 a pound in Colorado for good quality
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it was cool. It was real cool.
It was so busy you couldn't even have enough, no matter how big or whatever you were up to.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was good times because I come from that type of shit and come out here to like it's just wide open. Ain't nobody hunting you. And you didn't really have worries like talking about. And I just like that. I was able to sleep at night and not not have to really stress that other side of it as much because if you're growing weed like the other fucking 100 people on your block are, it's like you're not really standing out. So
So
it
true.
worked out very well. Worked out real good.
And you were in Virginia up until 2015?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Dang.
went out. I left Virginia. I went to Oregon to help my bro Ben out. He was having problems with his kidneys and everything, and went up there and blew out a pretty proper grow up there and stunk out the fucking whole block because we didn't have any money left for anything with the smell. But they had rent going on too, so I was like, oh, it's straight, man, because anybody gonna say nothing, and it's like over in the shitty side of Portland or whatever. So it was whatever. So I got that off, and then I gotten offered like a potential job interview down here. So moved from there and came down to well, actually before I even moved, I went to the Cannabis Cup, that last one that they had here, and
Yeah.
met the folks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, so, I brought a little weed, and they were like, oh, yeah, you're on point. You got the job if you want.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I was like, all right. So I went back up there, packed up my shit, sold off that weed, uh, give the loot to my bro, and fucking kept some, and then came back down here, and then went to work, and I was working with P-Bud and Bob Hemphill and everything, and we were working on this like 10-acre hemp farm, just fucking crushing it and shit. And yeah, and then like once I was here, I was like, I just really, really was digging it all, the weather and how the people are and everything about it. And I was like, you know what? I think I might stay here. This is pretty nice.
dang. That's wild.
That is crazy.
That is wild. And you said you were working with P Bud?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
it's me,
That's wild.
me and P-Bud, Bob Hemphill, and Hannah, his wife, and everything. Yeah, yeah, we had like a goddamn dream team working, growing some fucking hemp.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Shit, yeah, sure.
I mean, what? I mean,
Oh, gee, Tyler.
growing hemp. I mean, like, I mean, where were y'all? Where it was obviously in Colorado, but where was it at?
Loveland.
In Loveland.
That's where I went
Hmm.
to middle school and high school and all kinds. Loveland is like a weird fucking place for Colorado. Like, it's pretty conservative. Like, I got arrested so many times in Loveland,
Oh
like
yeah.
for weed, so young because they're just. What do you think?
I didn't pay much mind to them for real. I was just kind of just kind of going on my way, going doing my thing at work, and I got something to eat, and that was that. I didn't really like mingle too much. I was just kind of doing like how I would have done back home, just be the gray dude, somebody you don't really notice, don't really say nothing, just kind of in and out, do my thing, and that's it.
What in 2015 when you came here from VA, like what like you obviously got to try different strains that you probably hadn't seen out there too much.
Mm.
Like what stood out to you whenever you came here?
Mm, well, P-Bud's buddy Rob Carney had that Skelly hash plant. I hadn't had that, before, prior to it, and I really liked that one. That
Mm-hmm.
was pretty badass. But like I moved out here with like all my clones and like pretty solid pretty solid collection of fucking seeds and clones. So I had a bunch of Kim Dog, Headband, and Weird NL hybrids, and fucking Gannies, and all types of little odds and ends that I had made, and Hindus and Masters and Triangle, and like I said, a whole bunch of weed that they were really after out here. Versus say like the other way around.
What like and all those strains that you mentioned are all heavy hitters, right? So they're
Mm.
like things
Oh
that
yeah.
like get you stoned, you know? Like
Oh yeah.
when when you
So
got
true.
when you got here,
707.
obviously people like had like Jilly Bean and Tangy and papaya and these weird like
That was
fruit,
that time.
fruit strains. Like what was your,
Clementine, tangy.
what was your thought
My
process
good.
on, those?
Well, I say like I knew Subcool and Jill like back fucking shit. I was talking to Subcool probably like 1999, and hung out with him a good bit in the early 2000s and shit. He's a good friend of mine and all. So I'd grown a lot of like the Jelly Bean and a lot of the other stuff before it ever even got released, like in the early 2000s. Like
Wow.
it was like '05 or something like that. So yeah, so I'd already kind of been there and done it, you know, um, when I got out here. So when people were like rocking Jelly Bean, I was like, oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah. Do you like fruity weed?
Yeah, yeah, it's just I like fruity weed that actually thumps you in the head, which is kind of like few and far between. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
we're talking about that. You mentioned the dream team. Like, you did list a lot of good names, a big group in there. It's like, for the people that don't know, I mean, like, can we expand a little bit, Duke, on kind of like how you got into breeding and like when you started that, the group you began this journey with?
Um, well, I would say like right when I got into the growing in '94, also happened to be making seed that year because like the whole ordeal of getting seed from say Amsterdam over to say Virginia, it's it's substantial because you're taking a really big risk by doing that during those years. Like now it's legal over there, but during that time, that's a big deal. If that shit got intercepted, I mean, like you're going to prison. Um, just on a conspiracy alone, let alone if they get you on any plants or anything. So the idea is once you got it, you're gonna F2 that shit, F3, F4, like whatever you need to do to keep your seed stock going, because especially growing like a lot of outdoor and everything too, it's what made sense. Um, the actual like getting into the weeds with it didn't come till later. I got a copy of Rob Clark's Marijuana Botany and everything, and really got to reading about it, and then just started kind of playing around with things. And I think it was around 2003, four, where I was actually trying to like put in some work and put a little more thought behind it and give a fuck a little bit more with it. And yeah, it's just been one of those things like I would say a hobby of mine since then. It takes up so much time, and it's so fulfilling and everything, and you just never know where you're gonna end up with stuff. Like I don't know, I just like everything about it. Um, but at the end of the day, like when you were making things, it's like, better than what the next person has growing, and something unique that, thumps people in the head that can also like yield very well for you and stuff. Like it paid off, like quite literally. So, yeah, I've just really, really kind of been into it ever since. I never made any of my stuff available, like selling it, like seed wise until shit. I was here in Colorado. I had sold some stuff to some like dudes back home that were doing their outdoor and everything, but it was just such a limited type of a thing. Yeah, it wasn't until I got here to Colorado and did the revamp of Brothers Grim Seeds that I actually was putting work that I was doing out to people where they could like buy it like at a seed bank.
I just feel, excuse me, sorry. I just took a dab. I I feel like it's so intimidating. I think as a grower at one point, like you challenge yourself like so much, and like I don't know. I think a lot of growers learn from their failures per se, or like just like
The
I don't
good
know.
ones, yeah.
And I think it becomes so intimidating. Oh my gosh, I'm just dying over here. Over
Don't die.
the like you can fall in love with the idea to breed a plant, and like you can be thirsty for it and everything like that, but I think it's intimidating or restricting. Like most people don't have accessibility or wouldn't make it happen and go through the challenges it takes to like do it in times that were illegal, in places that like it was very, just different.
Yeah, it's sacrifice, whether it was back then or now. There's certain sacrifices that you're gonna have to make. Um, and that's part of it. And back then, the sacrifices was, yeah, you're not going out to these parties. You can't just, a girl really likes you, wants to date you, you can't, because like she ain't into weed. So, bitch might snitch on your ass, whatever. Like you
Yeah.
can't live like a normal life, so you kind of got to pick like, hey, do I really want to go this route, or do I want to go the route of these square motherfuckers, and live like a very unfulfilling, unadventurous shit, bland life. And that wasn't for me. I like fucking adventure. I like to live. Like when I fucking die, I don't want to, be like, oh yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like, nah, I want to be like, oh, I did it, and I did it well, and my body's busted up to shit. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Off to
Yeah.
the next adventure. So, yeah, it's just part of it. And you get locked up, and you do your time and everything, and don't be all sad about it. Just keep moving forward, because that's just part of the fucking deal. You choose a lifestyle, you go all the way with that shit.
Pay the cost to be the boss, dude.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
truth.
that's about right.
It's the
That's
truth,
about
dude.
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's the thing too about Duke that I just like admire so much is like we all go through these like heavy times and like obstacles in life. Like I know everybody does. And like I think when you see somebody like Duke come out of a situation, I don't know how everybody feels. We can talk about it later, but like of just being so positive and like just trooping through. Like trying to help out people around. I don't know, Duke, I see you trying to help everybody around your group, but like I see how delicate you have to be with like certain circumstances, and like it's crazy to me, but like it shows such a respectable amount of love and passion for like what you're really doing. It's like how much you stand out as a breeder by like really just like pursuing this so long and having to, like you said, sacrifice so much, but like even still, like, it's very it's very impressive and
What's your
respectable.
what's your like seed company name?
Dominion Seed Company.
Dominion Seed Company. And where did
Yeah.
that like name come from?
Dominion, like, so like another name for Virginia used to be like the Old Dominion.
Okay.
Is like Old Dominion University and all that. So kind of spawned out of there and came out here. Like the logo for a hot minute was the is the Virginia state flag with the old hillbilly skunk
I
on
didn't.
there. Like,
That's dope.
The
yeah,
skunk is so cute. He's
yeah,
got.
yeah. Fucking got Serlo. He fucking drew that one up. Like I'd come up with the idea and just sketch it out, and I was like, all right, here you go, man. And he did it for like a quarter pound of weed. I think is what I ended up giving him. So, but he used to do like art and shit for like Grateful Dead and Fish and all that. He's good artist, man.
I love that.
Bless that man.
Yeah, straight up. We send our love.
Yeah. And then like the newer one is that's my buddy Brad. Like we went to high school and shit together. He works out of a tattoo shop back in Richmond, Virginia. I got him to do the newer one. That's the one you got on your hoodie and shirt there, Jay.
Ah, I love it. Dude hooked me up with the most gangster hoodie and t-shirt. Like, I can wear it as like my Colorado dress sweater. You know what I mean? But like, it's so comfortable. It looks so. Oh, but every time I wear it, people are like coming up to me like nonstop, like, oh,
Like, where'd you get that swag at?
yeah, exactly. Fist bump. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that shit's gritty as fuck. Yeah, man. Fucking Brad's a man.
I feel okay, and then with breeding too, I was thinking about this as well, though. Like the challenging part of like actually doing it. Like I remember the first couple techniques that I applied to like actually performing this on the plants and like making these attempts like have all varied so much like from the very first time of like whether you're making regular seeds or feminized or whatever you're up to. But how did you like, can I ask like what was your first like method, or if it's different from then to now of
Well,
actual like performing?
it's like when you first start out, I guess you have this concept of like, oh yeah, I got A and B and I'm putting them together and I'm getting a bunch of AB like in the mix and but it doesn't really work like that. So when you actually get into the nuts and bolts of it, like say like you want to be a carpenter or whatever, you learn how to use your tape measure and certain tools, and the further along you go and the more complex shit you want to build, like you best learn you something, the right tool in the toolbox for the right job. And it's really the same with that. You learn a few little tricks in here. When you get too honed into say just like cannabis growing and stuff and you kind of ignore like the entire like agriculture as a whole, you kind of bottleneck your whole knowledge there. So um being from like an agricultural area and people that were like into breeding tomatoes and friends that went to Virginia Tech and learned about corn and stuff like that, you start learning like different techniques to kind of get where you want to go. And there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, but um, I would say like one of the most important things is like being very familiar with each one of the lines that you're putting together to further your selections along the way, being able to pick out these little subtle things that are linked together with another trait that are desirable, that you're looking to increase the frequency of these desirable traits in the progeny. So, um, most of what I'm doing, I guess you could call, is like reoccurrence selection. Um, and trying trying my best, like, you're trying to nail as many checks down this list as you can, um and each time, trying to improve upon those things. So you might have, say, color, smell, flavor, potency, but you're trying to further along, like breadth to leaf ratio, structure, and everything else, and trying to work that a little bit better each time. um you know you can kind of, and here's the other thing is, like, guys that were like real quick, to go ahead, chuck something together, not even testing it, and just, getting it out the door as quick as possible, making some money, like, that's whatever. But if, like, you're real passionate about a project, and, like, hey, I'm getting ready to dump the next like 3 to 6 years onto something, it might behoove you to, like, maybe know what you're working with, reversing a clone onto itself, making an S1, essentially. It's, a feminized version of an F2, to really see the breakdown selection. And you can kind of see right then and there, like, is this worth going down this going down this road? You can see, like, hey, this probably isn't going to work out, going further down the road. And um, so, taking, a little time to do that versus just going in blindly and, wasting a bunch of time and space and energy and money. um, knowing what you're working with before you're moving ahead. And then, growing out in good numbers. That's always going to help you, find, your absolute best selections and everything. And kind of going from there. um, you might, go filial male female, to an F2. You might take an F2 back cross to one of the parents, and, maybe self it from there, or self one then back cross. Like, there's a lot of different ways to really, hone in on these gene pairs that we're looking at as desirable, in the progeny. And how you get there, there's a lot of different ways. But what it just comes down to is just time and effort, and, like, taking it seriously, and not not fucking taking mediocrity. You know what I mean? Like, exceed, make it better. Just don't accept, some mediocre shit. If it's going that way, you need to chuck that shit in the trash, or feed it to the birds or something, and start over. Work something else.
I mean,
Instead of just bashing your head against the wall.
are you looking for, like, when you're trying to find like, find things,
It's gonna vary with every single thing that you do. And, like, when I'm saying, like, reoccurrent selection, like, you could, I guess, like, to easily explain it, you might notice that, the shorter plants happen to be the ones that have the color,
right?
right? But you might also notice the shorter ones that have the color that also stretch the most might be the most potent and have the higher, bracт leaf ratio.
Right.
um, and noticing, like, these certain things along the way, which is going to help you, into select, because, like, the females are that's the easy part of your selection. Selecting the right males, that's a whole nother thing. So picking up on these, like, little small things that most people would overlook, that's going to help you along the way. um, there's gene markers and PCR and fucking, DNA, RNA, fucking synthesizers and shit. But unless you're, like, a multi-million-dollar laboratory and doing that shit, like, you're gonna have to go with the old tried and true, which is, eyes and nose and olfactory senses, and then, your endocannabinoid system let you know, did it work or does it not work, you know?
Ooh. So,
Yeah.
one thing I've heard through the grapevine about Duke is that he tests. It's like Hell's Dungeon or Dungeon something. They call.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, so I had a friend. He's back in Virginia. He has literally the worst environment in the world, which is always riddled by pest and heat and extreme cold and everything. Like he's always good to throw some seeds to see how they hold up. But I also like to look at stuff and like kind of see like how frail it is, you know. See if I can get like drought resistance out of things if it freaks out from a light leak, overfeeding, underfeeding, how it's going about because this is all like data that I want to know to like pass on to the person buying seeds because like if I'm growing it or you're growing it like yeah of course I can let you know like yeah it's a light feeder or it's a heavy feeder, run your EC, your PPM like this or whatever. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to stretch this much, about this many days, you're good to go. Yeah, that's great and all, but now you're in the business of actually selling seeds to a public that you might not know. This might be their 100th grow or their very first. They might have a very dialed condition, maybe they don't. So it was a good way to know it's like, well, this stuff is so fucking solid I don't, I could give it to this guy that's just, could fuck up a wet dream, and he's still going to end up with like a good quality, product at the end. Therefore, somebody that's happy, and like I want to see people happy, and be into the hobby and into the, growing their own, versus, going the other route with it. I want to see people succeed, not get deterred by like, oh man, yeah, I had like a little humidity and high temps and the shit freaked out,
Powder
I give
mildew
up.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to put things out there that were pretty bulletproof. And if there was any weird things with, overfeeding and stuff like that, I wanted to make note on that. So, with my seed packs, I used to have a card in it. It told you like what it was and everything, but it had some little tips and everything. It would let you know how much it would stretch and about how many days and little tips on feeding, don't, not to go too hard and, certain weeks to maybe, look to feed a little bit more this way and, try to help people out.
I think that's huge. What were you gonna say, OG Tyler?
I was gonna say nowadays with it being like, I mean, a hash maker's market essentially. Like, are you selecting things for hash, or is your main focus still trying to find stuff that works for flour?
It's mostly for the flour, because like the hash making people, it's really gonna come down to their selections. And there's people that want things that wash good, and yeah, there's going to be things that are great for that, and guys that want to do their sift and everything, but people that might want to like, do a dry freeze or like a liquid nitrogen freeze and do pressing and shit like that. Good greasy stuff works good for that too.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what it is, it's going to come down to the cultivator and then them selecting, out of however many they're growing, the one that's going to perform best for them for their hash returns.
Right.
Mm.
If like I'm buying seeds, do you recommend like I buy a certain amount of packs to like really get a good gauge on like selecting? Like, I mean,
Yeah, the more the better. That's always a good metric. Um, I've always felt like I'm when I'm putting stuff out there, if I can't find a good suitable winner in a 13 pack of seeds, um, that wasn't something that I was interested in
Mm.
releasing anyway.
right.
Because I know most people are going to get one pack and one pack only. If I don't make my impression with that, then I'm probably going to make a bad impression, and I don't want to do that. It goes back to them being happy and succeeding. So, um, yeah, it's kind of like a rule of thumb for me. I don't really want to put it out there if you can't find something that's really banging out of one pack. Two packs is even better, of course. Three's even better, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah. But
What
the
is
one thing I noticed, a lot of people, they get so crazy with buying packs of seeds up, and then they'll pop like two seeds out of each of the 10 packs that they just got, and then they'll write off, a few of those people's packs, and that's not a good way, not a real good way to go about it, because out of the two out of a 10 pack that they pop from the other guy, um, they end up with two like kind of all right things, and they're like, yeah, whatever, and then they get rid of the pack. It's like, yeah, there might have been six fucking heaters up in there, you just didn't pop them, So when you get a pack, pop the whole fucking pack.
Yeah. Maybe even some fire males. You know.
mm.
Yeah, if you're into making your own seeds and everything, for sure.
So while we're talking about males, it's like I noticed that everybody is like so terrified to have a male like in veg or like I don't know, like honestly, just anywhere in the building. It seems like the same
Yeah.
concept of like cloning a male or keeping him in your library is like very like not intriguing to a lot of growers. I think like what do
Yeah,
you
for sure.
do? Can I ask you, Duke, what's your like? How do you go about keeping or preserving your males like with a library or in a grow that you're flowering?
Well, the main thing when I'm selecting males, don't like the I don't like things that want to autoflower.
Mm,
That's highly undesirable to me. And if old boy wants to get excited and start skeeting all over the fucking place, like out of nowhere, like fuck him, he's dead. Can't have it. Um, so that another thing is like plants becoming root bound. You've probably seen it with certain females. They start to get a little root bound. They'll start wanting to autoflower and stuff.
mm,
Males are like that a lot too. Males also don't get the love like the female clones do.
yeah.
So if you're gonna keep them around, give them the love. Make sure they don't get root bound. Give them the same amount of light as you do the others. Don't keep them in the fucking corner, in the fucking shade, or else he's gonna start fucking skeeting all over the place. Like it's pretty cut and dry, And when you select them, don't select ones that just wanna autoflower under 18.6 on you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so feed them good, keep the roots in cool, and not all tight and constricted, and keep the light good, and you should be good to go. And clone them, with the rest of them, and just keep cycling it if it's important, and if it's not that important, then kill that fucking thing and don't worry about it.
What do you suggest somebody do if you have like a male from a seed pop that like you just identified in your room? Is there like a week that you're like, fuck this, it's too far, the pollen's everywhere, like or
Yeah, like I said, if he's already busted, under 18.6, he's dead.
what if you're in flower? I'm sorry, dude. I said that really bad.
Mm. I mean, unless you want to make a bunch of seeds, I suggest I want to kill that fucker.
Do you think?
I would say like if you're asking like you just noticed him
Yeah.
up in the canopy and like he's getting ready to bust, I would say get a little spray bottle. Moisture is gonna sterilize that pollen for you, and go ahead and mist them down, get them all good and wet there, and have a trash bag ready, and very gingerly slide that over them, and slide them up under the bottom, tie that bag off, and get them out. And that should keep your pollen spreading to a minimum.
Dang,
So nice.
that's heat.
Thank you for helping us all with that. I
Oh
know when
yeah, for sure.
Dang, that's some heat.
I know when I was at Rare Dankness, honestly, like people would get so scared when like you told them that there was a male in like the bedrooms like at all times. Like they were like, "What?" Like it's outrageous.
Yeah, I'm gonna say call up Scott, tell him bring down the spray bottle and a trash bag.
Ah. I feel Okay, what was your like first moment in the cannabis scene where you were like, holy shit, people are coming up to me and like asking my story, asking who I am, about my seeds. They want to meet me. Like, when was that first moment where it became like real to you? I think, or like all that came to life.
I'd say it all started getting real weird about 420 of 16, and then that was the big the first launch of the new revamped Brothers Grimm, and that was definitely interesting. Um, Cause like I had a lot of people that knew me or knew the work or knew the weed, but at that point, yeah, that was a lot of people, and we did it in Longmont behind Robbie's. What's up, Robbie? Behind his fucking hydro store, basically in a back parking lot alley, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So
Those are all the spots.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like funny.
Yeah, like it was because it was sketchy. I ain't gonna lie, because like there was like talking people maybe like calling the cops on it and being fucked up about it. I was like, man, it's whatever. I've seen these cops around here. I can outrun them. I ain't worried about it.
Don't you think this is
So
like a weird fad though that needs to be addressed? And I am willing to do it. Is I feel like this whole like calling the C word, like I don't even want to say it, but like I feel like I don't even like this sentence, but like I think like that's become something in the last like 10 years versus like even the 4 or 5 years I was involved before that. That was like unheard of. That was never mentioned with like anything. It wasn't even like your enemy wanted to like hurt you like that. Now this is like something 2020 whatever has brought like where everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, this is how I fuck this person real quick," or "Oh, this is my loophole on this," or
hey, all I gotta say is like, you know, that's what's up, man. You might get that shit off on these fucking pussy motherfuckers down the way, but you fuck around and find out. You gonna do it to a real one, you can get your head fucking stomped in.
that's how
And,
I feel.
you
Like
know,
snitches get stitches. Like that didn't
mm,
change. Like or
like I
okay,
like I said, it just depends who they doing it to. Like I said, some bitch made motherfucker might take that shit on the chin, but there's some people out here that ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? And you might end up getting hurt or something. But
I
that's what
think
they got coming. That's a bitch ass move. If I can call a lawman on somebody, like fucking bitches.
it like happens a lot with like the Indo Expo or like these events. Like people get restraining orders and like crazy shit for reals to like do seed drops or do like these crazy endeavors. Which like
No.
I get it. I get it.
I mean,
If you're
they
that
maybe
person.
maybe they need to look at what they're doing. Maybe they wouldn't need a restraining order if they shut the fuck up. Maybe they
See,
wouldn't need that if they acted like a decent fucking human being. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like a lot of them
be a good
motherfuckers
person.
run that fucking mouth off on the goddamn internet. They don't go to shows and shit because they know what time it is. Somebody's gonna crack them in their fucking jaw. And then the
It's
ones that
true.
do, yeah, they gotta have security and fucking restraining orders and shit like that. That's the most fucking pussy shit I ever fucking heard in my life. Just fucking stupid.
That's
So,
what
yeah, they need to tighten up. You know what I mean? Look in the mirror and address that. And start being cool. You
that's
gotta
what I
be an
think.
asshole.
Like loyalty and trust, like that should be like a given when you like go into somebody's like space. This is like the unspoken rule is like there is like this like trust and like tremendously not even if like you're in a commercial grow or like whatever you're up to is like it's like kind of like a privilege, you know what I mean, to like be working with the plants and like I don't know, whoever you're working with, even if they like upset you, is like I just feel like there's something about cannabis that I love that it makes you like fall in love with it. And then you want to be good to each other, with all the
Yeah,
shenanigans in between.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I like getting along with everybody, and I'm cool as shit until I'm not, But like I said, me calling the cops on me, just make you a profile at scaredmotherfucker.com with the rest of them, and fucking go be a bitch over there, man. Just you ain't
Yeah,
got to be friends. I ain't got to be friends with everybody. That's just it's not realistic. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's like real though, like, and I hate to say this, but I think anybody that's been in it for more than a decade, like at least, is like, I feel like we've all run into like weird situations and like whatever, and I think that, I don't know, is what I hope over the next years. Like, it's been a like tough market, this last year for I think most people, and I really hope it like brings us back to like that original like respect and like culture and kind of like
Yeah.
complimentary sales. This is weird, but I was thinking about the days that like dispensaries used to only buy like from certain growers or breeders, but then they would like have like you would grow this strain and this person would grow this strain. You didn't like go into a dispensary and have like five different choices of like the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it was like
Oh yeah.
it's such a weird.
Yeah,
For
well,
sure.
yeah. Now, it's tough because like you can go into a shop in Denver and look at flour, and you have three or four different companies, and they're growing the same strains, and you're just like, whoa, like I don't know.
Oversaturation.
It's yeah, and
Yeah,
it's the same with hashed, because there's only certain things that wash, right? So,
it's
or like
true.
that people
Yeah.
want to even attempt to. So then
Yeah.
it's just the same strains over,
Hmm.
What about like
And
breeding?
that's the thing. Like these hash makers, obviously they know a cultivator, or maybe they're doing their own cultivation. They can reach out. Like 710 used to hit me up all the time back in the day. They got shit from me that I didn't put out there in the world, that they were able to do banging shit with that was different,
Yeah.
and do very well with it. I would recommend that to like anybody that really wants to stand out. Like you got to take that extra step yourself. You can't just sit around and just wait for shit to fall in your lap. You got to take the initiative to be different, to to make it ahead in an industry like this, especially one that's like kind of fucked off right now. Like you got to
Mm.
stand out. It's not up to somebody else to help you stand out.
It's
You gotta take that move forward, or otherwise you're gonna get stagnant and you're gonna go out of business with the rest of them motherfuckers. Straight up, it's a hard truth. But
yeah.
whether they're starting their own breeding programs, or reaching out, hollering at a dude like me or Jay or whoever, that's what's got to be done. And you don't really see or hear much of that going on nowadays. So they're just, like I said, they're content with just being complacent and just draining bank accounts. And
Will you use like hype strains to breed with, or are you just keeping it kind of like old school genetics?
That's so funny.
nah, I make hype strains. I don't use other people's hype shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make all my own. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, yeah, man.
I mean, I think that is weird as well. It's like, how do you go as a grower or breeder? Like, okay, if you're not like like if you don't know the right group, I guess, or like if you're beginning in this industry or as a cultivator at home, like how breeding, like you can't ask the guy permission if this is your first round, or like you you don't think you can slide into his DMs real quick. Like I feel like there's a lot of upsetting things that happen as far as, this respect that like everybody's expecting as like a breeder, and like what should be the time frame of like somebody actually running your stuff and like valuing it, appreciating it, but like what would be the proper approach if they wanted to like move forward with your product, or like I don't know,
Yeah,
dude.
a lot of people they hit me up because they're real interested in doing it, and My biggest advice to them, because like I'm all about it. Like, do
It's
your
so cool.
thing. Like if I didn't want it out there, I never would have sold it to begin with. You know, and you bought it, so that's all on you. My recommendation is, you know, have some time under your belt growing, and you know, being able to get plants to potential, right? And then go from go from there, because you're not going to be able to select for shit if you can't grow for shit, right? So there's that. Um, and then too, like, you know, making good selections, like, you know, the best. Oh, let me phrase this here. I'm on your show. So the best piece of steak is only as good as the best steak you've ever had. So if you've been eating truck stop T-bones for fucking ever and never been to a Ruth Chris, how the fuck do you even know what good is, right?
That's what's up.
So, you know, get out there. And if it is someone who has gone through all that and like they're ready to start delving into stuff, you know, normally I'll throw them a bone. You know, I'm not going to take all the work out of it for them because you know that's half the fun. But you know, I give them a few little tips on what they're trying to do to get their little project done. I've always been about that, you know. So I think it's pretty cool. Some people they get real pissed off and everything, and I always tell them at the end of the day, like, hey man, you don't want the shit out there, then don't fucking put it out there. I mean, it's pretty fucking simple program, dude.
Man.
Is you talked about it a couple times? Is the Brothers Grimm, is that the Cindy 99 guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's
Because Jay and I both worked for the clinic a long time ago, and we ran a Cindy 99 over there, and that was people loved that strain. So,
it tasted
uh,
Oh yeah.
so sweet and
Hmm.
so stand out at the time.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
loved it. I just couldn't
Sorry, Duke.
remember
Oh
if it
yeah.
was that guy or not.
You know, yeah, that guy's he could be a whole another episode. He's definitely a character for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, we need a whole nother episode.
We,
Yeah, yeah, that that fucking guy, man.
We'll
Jesus
wait.
Christ.
That'll be
Yeah,
2024.
yeah. I was gonna say that shit lasted about 2 years, and
We'll
I
wait
couldn't get
another.
away from get away from that motherfucker quick enough, man. God
yeah, I
damn.
bet.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Mhm.
I think that we should all take. Well, Tommy, you should. Ah,
What?
I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Tommy
I
Chong
know.
was somebody that was really. Did you get to meet Tommy Chong, Duke?
Dude, at that damn cannabis cup, I was waiting in a line because during my first bit in fucking prison, a buddy sent me a book called I Chong, and I ended up reading it. And I was like, that's a pretty cool book. So I waited in this long line to meet him. I was the next person up, and he was like, nah. And like they were wrapping it up. And I was like, come on, man. I was like, is this? And he just like turned his back. I said, man, fuck you, dude. So that was it, you know.
That was. I thought that you. I don't know.
Dude,
It's
I
funny.
want to tell you a story just because that kind of reminded me of something. So, I'm like 17, 8, maybe 18, and I'm up in Fort Collins, and uh what was it, the dude Jorge Cervantes or
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like he was doing a book signing, or like he was speaking up at some place in Fort Collins. So we're like, me and some family like went over there, whatever. We're gonna get our book signed, so I get up, and he's like, you know he's sitting in a booth, and I go over there and talk to him, and I'm like, hey man, can I ask you a question? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how much like weed do you think is like a good amount to smoke a day, like, as just to consume? And he's like, he just looks at me, and he's like, what do you mean? What type of question is that? Get out of this booth. And I was like, dude, no, what do you mean that's my one shot? Like, he's like, get out of the booth.
Wow, man.
Uh,
Wow,
That
man.
is
I'm like,
funny.
my man. He still signed my
Dude.
book, but.
Yeah, like what the fuck, man? I mean, I would have answered you, man. You know, I'd
Yeah.
say like, hey, man, like you're supposed to be functional. Just smoke as much as you can to be functional. If you don't need to be functional, get trash, man. Whatever amount that is, you're
Yeah,
good.
and I think I said something or he said something to the effect of like it's quality over quantity, and I'm like, yeah, like we live in Colorado, like all we're smoking good weed, bro. Like it's all good, you know what I mean? Like virtually at
It's
that point,
true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're not smoking swag, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like
So
Yeah, and everybody's different too, man. Some people, man, they gotta smoke a lot of fucking weed, and some
yeah.
people don't. You know, it's man, that's tough, man. I'm
No, just
sorry, dude.
that was my like Tommy Chong moment that I could relate to. I was like, God dang! I was like, now and then I thought, dang, are all weed people like kind of mean? Like I don't know. Like I'm so young.
That's what I used to hear all the time, man, because like
that's
I
funny.
actually would answer like DMs, answer questions, and like actually talk to people, and then it shows that, I don't stand behind the booth like, handling all that shit. Like I stand off to the side to answer questions and kick it with people, and if
That's
I
cool.
give talks or whatever, everybody else bounces, and I'm hanging around like I go smoke joints in the parking lot with people, and just kick it, cause like these are like my people. Like this is who I like want to hang out with if I'm gonna hang out with people. Like
That's it.
I don't want to go see fucking Snoop and whoever the fuck he's performing with at some after party with like corporate jackoffs that I don't want to fucking be around. I'd rather kick it with these people that are growing in their fucking tent in their basement and go bowling or something.
Yeah.
Get drunk and like I
That's
don't
awesome.
get it either. They get these fucking inflated fucking heads, these fucking egos, like fucking over glorified fucking farmer. Like how the fuck that ever happened, like I don't know. But that ain't me, man. And
It's
fuck
funny.
them.
Man. No, it's awesome.
It was so good. I think, okay, well, I feel like we should all go bowling sometime. Like, maybe we should do a
Hell yeah.
show bowling. Like,
Or just
question,
go. We could just go bowling. That'd be fine.
whatever.
Just
Whatever.
have
That's
fun.
so
Bowling.
yesterday.
We'll smoke them
Yeah,
up.
bowling's fun. Play some darts or pool or putt putt. Like
Ooh.
race
Putt
some go
putt.
karts. All that shit.
I
That's
think I
good
would
times.
suck at putt
Dude,
putt.
I go to One Up all the time and play arcade games like pinball and like skee ball and like
No.
Pac
Yeah.
Man and Miss Pac Man.
I got threw up on one time at One Up on like
Nice.
a guy sitting at the bar. Like I wish I could make this up. Like he just turned at me and like I was wearing white and he just yacked everywhere and it was just everywhere. And it was like pretty early, I would say like it was at least like 6-ish, right?
Wardrobe change.
I don't know. It was
What?
awful. Have
Huh.
you ever
Pre-gaming
been
like a
yacked on?
motherfucker.
No, I threw up on
Yeah.
my own shoes one time.
You.
I was turned 21 and I went in an alley and puked. And it's just like, I looked down and my shoes got puked on. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, that is
That's
funny.
the truth.
That's the last time OG Tyler drank.
No, no. I mean, I don't drink too much, but I like
Right.
to keep it to the good stuff over here.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I feel like
What's your favorite strain that you're smoking right now?
I ain't smoking no strays that little
he's,
probation,
Oh,
he's
bro.
in it. He's
oh
got a
yeah.
couple. It's close.
Yeah, you'll be smoking
See,
soon. Like, what can
I was
you?
gonna say it's C99, but it stands for Camel 99s.
Oh,
Here's the question. Out of
Yeah.
camels are
out
nice.
of out of what you've been able to see, kind of recent, um,
Yeah.
what are
What's
you
poppin'?
what are you most um intrigued to try?
I am real stoked because I've been growing some reefers over at Two's place, and we got a bunch of like all the oldies or whatever that we grew out, testing out the Aztec lights and the new Build-A-Soil.
Ooh.
So yeah, I got a good array. And then hey, Jay, when it's like I'll probably be trimming on it here in the next like 3 or 4 days, and I'm gonna come up that way here in probably 2 weeks. I'll bring you a little bit of each one. You can smoke on, but
Gosh, I'm
Got
so
Headband,
excited.
Chem Dog. I got some VB, Virginia Beach Ganny. I got some Super Silver Haze. I got some Ether. I got some Cherry AK.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't smoked that
yeah,
in
like
years.
good. Yeah, I got a whole array of stuff, but I think damn, because like it's weird, right? Because the first time I got out of the joint back in the day, like I went all in. I got out of the halfway house and sprouted seeds right away. It was like prepping for an outdoor grow. And by the time I was off paper, like everything was like all like cured up, perfecta. And it was a Jack the Ripper Super Silver Haze hybrid that I had made, and we grew it outside. And it was just smelling, looking so good. Ended up smoking that as my first shit back. That was a fucking mistake. I smoked way too much of the wrong fucking thing. I had to go to a continuing education class for my electrical license. And oh man, I went in that classroom after a sketchy drive, and the fucking fluorescent lights in the classroom, they were all fucking like dimming down, feeling it was all quiet. You could just hear everybody's like tongue sticking to the roof of their mouth type shit. And the dude teaching the class was this asshole I used to work with back in the day. He was like, might as well have been a fucking cop. He had the goddamn mustache and everything. And I was like, oh, fuck, he knows. It was so bad. I went home, took a fucking shower, ate some pizza, tried to chill the fuck out.
You had to
But,
purify.
yeah, yeah, I gotta be careful with it. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but I'm gonna take it slow.
Dang, you got the headband though. I haven't seen that like in rotation. I think I've seen that in some crosses lately, but like,
Oh, so
not
hot.
just
Yeah.
by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a nice hybrid of it I made called Skunk Man. It was fucking gnarly as shit too. Uh, yeah, yeah.
What is
But
that like?
yeah, after this, like,
Is
oh,
that like the super skunk? What, like a super skunk and headband or what?
Mm.
something like that, I reckon.
Oh,
Yeah.
something,
Um,
something.
it was it was Kim Dog 91, the Super Sativa Seed Club Skunk One, across to Skelly Hash Plant, across to the same Sativa Seed Club Skunk One, and a combination of those two, and the real select mail out of that to the headband.
Good
And that was
lord.
the Skunk Man. Yeah, it's fucking gnarly as shit.
Yeah, that.
And yeah, and then got some seeds made, so gonna be popping those here in the next few weeks, get them all tested out and everything for springtime, and I'll be real stoked to try all those new things.
And you said super silver haze as well.
Hmm. Yeah, sure enough, man. Got that 98 cup winner up in there.
Dude, you
Super
could
silver
you could
haze.
breed some of those strains to like stuff that's hot now, like, and it would be crazy. I think,
Oh my God, yes.
honestly, I know you don't want to work with anybody else's stuff like that, but I feel like you could have like super silver haze and like I don't know, gelato or like something, and it could be really really like crazy, like a crazy profile.
Yeah, could be. Or Screaming Eagle to
Oh,
Super Silver Haze.
can we talk about
Or
What is
Screaming
a screaming eagle?
Eagle? Yes.
that's a Afghani to the 88 G13 hash plant, and select mail from that to the Airborne G13. So real gnarly G13 hybrid. The one I kept from all those years ago. It's like pink lemonade and spree candy, like purple spree candy or something, mixed in with like pink lemonade. If you looked at the bud, you would think it was like some of the hype shit or made with cookies or something, but there ain't a lick of it in there.
It's just
So,
purple.
um,
It's nice.
yeah, yeah, some of them do, and
That's
that one will as well. Like, yeah, just resin on resin on resin, just cake the fuck up.
mm,
Hardly any leaf on it. Crazy potent, put your dick right in the dirt.
so
And
that's good though. It's
yeah, and
perfect for
then I
trimming
use
too.
that, and yeah, and I use that in the other stuff, and like I said, kind of, I don't know, just like to ride my own wave. Don't want to be like a sponger on their shit, nor
Uh,
to, I ain't
makes
really
sense.
into it. Yeah.
Well, I begged Duke to give me something to work with for a collaboration in the future, and I'm not gonna confirm anything, but it could or could not have something to do with this particular strain. And I am freaking excited.
You do like birds.
People have been telling me how creepy birds are lately, and I'm like, what? They're like sweet baby angels everywhere. Anyways,
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine as long as they're not trying to like attack you like that old Hitchcock fucking film, you know.
I got spurred by a rooster growing up. Do you know what that is? Like,
Fuck yeah. Yeah, they fuck
it's,
you up.
it is traumatizing.
Hell yeah. Did it get all infected and everything too?
Probably. I can't remember that part. I remember the thing latching onto it. My brother was like, just kick the rooster. Like, we were collecting eggs, you know? And he's like, just kick it. His name was Lucky. This little rooster was a little a-hole, man. And he's like, just kick it. So I went to kick it. I didn't even do it, so nobody get upset, okay? But this thing, like, totally attacked my leg and, like, just, like, scratched the crap out of me. And, like Duke said, I think it did get, like, it was painful and you couldn't get the thing off of you. Like,
Oh
my
yeah.
uh,
I'd eat that chicken.
my parents threw it over somebody else's fence. Just carried
Oh, you
on.
said it was a rooster. I'd eat that. I'd eat a chicken.
Oh, you would do it under those circumstances?
Yeah, I'm not trying to offend any of the vegan people that are listening or vegetarian people, but
Of course not.
I'd eat a chicken
I mean,
Hell yeah.
with some good sauce on it.
have you ever been chased by like a goose or something?
I've
Yeah.
been chased by a peacock
Peacocks
at
are
the
aggressive.
zoo. They just run up on you.
How did you hang out with a peacock at the zoo? Do you
They're
have to
walking
pay
around.
extra?
No, they're walking around.
What?
Eh, they let them walk.
Hell yeah.
Duke, what happened with you with getting, what's your bird experiences?
It's fine. Like I said,
It's fun.
I had a goose try to fuck with me once. I just whacked him in the fucking head with the end of my fishing pole, and that was that.
That's
I bet,
awesome.
I bet that took care of it. Yeah, like you said, real
Oh
quick.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, motherfucker looked back and was like, "Fuck you," and bounced.
Wow. So you guys,
Yeah.
what's the weirdest animal that's ever bit or attacked you?
Uh, Weirdest one?
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe the first one that comes to mind, actually, whatever that is.
Man, I had a big ass snapping turtle trying to get me. He also got caught the end of the fishing pole too. Um, I guess that'd probably be the weirdest one. I've had like water moccasins try to get me and
Oh,
shit.
dude, yeah.
What's
So
that?
I'm from Tennessee, and man, we have water moccasins out there, and it sucks too because you can't really tell like where you can get in,
Yeah,
because you're worried. It's like snake. They're like,
What?
yeah,
they're
dude, they're like
they're
water
aggressive.
snakes. Yeah,
Yeah, they're aggressive and like they'll seek you out. Like copperheads will normally go the other way.
yeah.
Water
Where
moccasin, yeah,
where do these things live?
In the south normally.
southeast. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the
yeah.
It sucked. It sucks because, like here, you can kind of jump in, the river or whatever, and be straight for the most part. And
mm,
like, dude, in the south, it sucked because I never got in the
yeah.
river because I was very much only in spots that I could really see because I was worried that they'd be like chilling up on the side.
That you get moccasined?
But you get straight mocked. Listen,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mock this.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
But cottonmouths, man, they're serious. They're part of the pit viper family too, so like they're pretty venomous, you know.
yeah,
that sounds
it's scary,
awful.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
what's the what's the next big event?
Yeah, what's the future for
Yeah, what's
Duke
going
Diamond?
on? Well,
Well, I'd be testing out all the new things that have been getting worked on since I've been back. Um, there's that, and then event wise, like it's kind of like whatever pops up around here, and me and my friends, like we were all, because like you said earlier, like people kind of got away from just like the that good communal, like get along, like good times, hanging out, and like,
Well, that's
you
cool.
know. So we were thinking like maybe we ought to like put something on, you know. Um, so kind of thinking about maybe putting something together out here where everybody can just kind of come and hang out. It's like there's no cup or anything like that. It's just people showing up to smoke a bunch of weed and maybe listen to some music and just get along and have some fucking fun, play some horseshoes, eat barbecue, whatever.
Dang,
Um,
that's a lot different than
So
than
what's
yeah.
happening?
hmm
Mm-hmm.
if Wolf does anything,
Mm-hmm.
always down for whatever events he's got planned. But yeah, other than that, man, just chilling and growing a bunch of weed and you know banging them together and making babies.
Shoot, we can make something happen. I'm sure that that Wolf is one of my homies. So you know,
He's a cool fucking dude,
We
bro.
jeez,
should beg Wolf to come on the next show or soon.
yeah, he's a smart guy.
Wolf is really
Yeah,
kind too.
yeah, he really is. He's a good dude. But yeah, that's about it as far as like getting out and about. The build a soil thing. Um, and once I'm off paper, I can finally start doing these little how-to videos and growing and everything and on camera with my face and shit. And that way I ain't gotta worry about some motherfucker snitching on me and shit. So, um, yeah, that's probably about it.
I think that's a lot. You're like making it sound like, man, that's just like, I don't know. It's
It's a decent,
that's like
decent,
so much.
decent workload. Yeah, it's a decent workload, but
I think
yeah,
that's impressive. I think
yeah, yeah.
Do you think you'll stay in Colorado for the
Oh
next
yeah,
few years?
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I got a house and land. Like I'm down here in like southern Colorado, about an hour south of Pueblo, out in the mountains, and it's real
Dang,
quiet and peaceful and everything. And it's me and the dogs and the wild animals, and just good to go.
that's awesome.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, I got one of my real good friends. He lives up kind of close up y'all's way ish, But I try to make it up there, kick it with him, every couple months at least,
that's
And
nice.
yeah, yeah. That was the last time I was up there. I was in Loveland that night. Um,
I got
so
to,
yeah, I'm due.
I was like, dude, don't leave this place until you see me. And so yeah, forced him to hang out with me.
Oh fuck.
Ah,
Oh, yeah, you made it sound so horrible.
I'm working on my,
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Lordy.
Oh.
Do you have any plans to ever like potentially work with some brand that could
Mm.
say, "Hey, like we want to put your weed in the dispensaries and have it branded, Blase Blase."
Yeah,
Like, would you ever do that?
yeah. Oh yeah, I've done it in the past, like in a few different states. It's just like I'm just real picky on like who it is and what they're about, and then also like the quality that they're putting out. Because like if they're on like some you know quota meeting shit, where it's like yeah, it's good enough, go out the door, just trying to make a number, then it's not something I'm really into. But the places that are like putting some love into their shit, then that was key. And then after that, I just I gotta know like who owns the company and what they're about and shit. And if they're on some bullshit or whatever, they can suck a dick. I ain't fucking with them. There's more important shit in life than money.
Yeah.
When I think working with Jeremy and Build a Soil like shows like after Duke says that like how much they're the extreme opposite and how they have such a pure beautiful product and like Jeremy's so educated and like how he creates these compost teas and Do you use a lot of compost teas?
Yeah, yeah. So, so like this last run that I just did, I really, really like the Dragonfly. I like them as people and everything too,
Mm.
but it made like real cool products. So, um, I use a little bit of Build a Soul stuff and some of their stuff together. So, prior to Flip, I use like Radiant Green and Fat Flowers at like half strength each. Um, and then I give it some coconut water from Build a Soul and everything, a little aloe water for the transition period. And then I'll repeat that half and half dragonfly feed for week one. Then I transition to fat flowers, earthworm castings, and some insect frass for a couple weeks.
Mm.
And then around mid flower, a little bit of bat guano, earthworm casting combo, some Epsom salt, and some juice ferment that I make. And bang that out to about 14 days to the end, and I get the last feed that, and a little bit after that, I'll throw in some straight cane sugar, get the microbes eating the sugar versus breaking down any more food, kind of get that good fade going on, let them ripen up, and chop them down and hang them high.
How long are you taking your plants on average?
Mm.
Like I know it's
Eh,
different for every strain, but
yeah, I like the quickest thing I'm growing's 62 days. Longest thing I'm growing is probably like 72 days, somewhere in that range.
okay.
I go till them glands are, good and white and swole, with very little clear, very little amber. Try to catch them when they're like real peaked out like that.
Nice.
Well, gentlemen, how do you feel right now? Like, I can keep going and going forever, but
Yeah.
should we close out the night with like a little cheers hurrah? And like we gotta get everybody to go to Instagram and follow Duke Diamond. Obviously, he's much bigger and cooler than I personally am, but
Shit.
but I
Uh,
feel like just everybody needs to go to that page, and I know they're already following it. I know that's like, yeah, but
yeah.
if
I'll be more active on there when I'm off paper. You know what I mean? Like I had to kind of
so
like
soon.
slow my roll a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be here in a few weeks and shit, but you know, you
Yeah,
know
but
how
then
it
you gotta
is.
like take it. You gotta be classy. It's like they're like weird. You know, it's like you're free, but you're like still like paranoid and not in your mind.
Nah, I'm
So,
straight. Nah, I'm good to go then. Like once I'm off paper, I'm straight. Like
well,
it's
then
done.
what the French? This is like so soon. Okay, with
Oh
that,
yeah.
are you thinking about going to Spannabis?
Nah, it's gonna be a while before I get passport, but I don't know. Like I kind of, I don't know. I kind of want to go to like Ireland and a couple other places, like not on some weed event shit. I just kind of want to like just go and travel and everything. And there's some people I was doing some time with that are like actually pretty cool people. I'm supposed to see them down in Mexico and go hang out down there and chill out and shit and go see some of the sights. Like some of those old ass pyramids and shit. Like that really excites me. Like I just
It
want
is
I
cool.
just want to see other shit. Weed's cool and all that, but
It's
yeah,
weird. Like the older you get, and like that's we don't need to go into what it looks like, but like the older that I'm getting, like you said, is like now I want to travel and like just like travel and enjoy it. And because like cannabis, I'm not saying we should have bind together and come through this and go to all these events,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
everybody's kind of like needs a break, you know?
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. Like especially when you do it for work and everything, right? And even if it's not for work, it's just a big hobby. It's like you know, cannabis is supposed to like enhance your life, right? there's
Yeah.
this whole other huge part of life that, like I get it, like
Hmm.
it's cool, it's exciting, it's like this thing, but like don't miss out on all the little stuff while you're doing your thing, because start doing that and it's it leads to regret later on, so make sure you're spending time with your friends and your family and all your loved ones and everything, and getting out there and doing other stuff like putt putt and bowling and fishing and shit like that, like make sure have good times, and don't take things so fucking seriously. Have a good time. It's very short. So,
I love those words of wisdom because I think we all need to hear it. We all need that pleasant reminder.
Yep.
OG Tyler, you are special.
Hey,
Duke Diamond, you are special. I
thanks.
want you guys to
sure.
know that you are very important to me.
Thank
And
Oh,
you.
I
thank
would
you.
not be trying here tonight if it wasn't for you guys. So you just keep on keeping on.
Oh yeah, we're gonna keep on trucking, ain't we, Tally?
Yeah, we are. Hey, don't touch a trim.
Do not touch the
Do
trim.
not touch a trim.
Oh my
Yeah, when you
goodness.
come when you're all good to go and you come back into the city, let us know, and I'll bring some Skittles terps, and we'll be smoking.
Oh, I'll bring my Squidbilly DVDs and some fucking Kim Dog and shit, and we'll
That's
we'll hang
awesome.
out.
Let's do it.
You guys are so
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Well,
Oh man, I was gonna say he might be. I'm lame as fuck.
that's not true at all. Well, Duke, would you like to direct people to any anything that you're up to, any way that they can reach you, or do you want
Yeah,
to
if you
wait?
nah, it's fine. It's fine. Tally's taking the hit on this one. Let's see. If you wanna do the Instagram thing, which I will get more active on it, it's the real Duke Diamond. Make sure to spell it right, because there's a clown that's like tries to scam people by like changing one letter and shit. But it's
Weirdo.
got like 14 point something thousand on it, and the last post is my boy School from the beach, with a weird looking mask on it and shit. It's got like 30,000 something likes on it, which is stupid. I don't even know how that happened, but fucking School, you motherfucker, you. But yeah, so there's that. Don't DM me there. Like I said, I'm just not real super active on it. But when you get there, like in the header of the page, there's like a link tree link. If you click on that, there's a link to the Discord. That's a pretty cool place. Definitely real active over there. Easier to answer questions and stuff. We got like Friday night giveaways. We give away hot sauce and free seeds and clones and shit sometimes, t-shirts,
What's the
yada
podcast
yada.
name again?
Huh?
What's your podcast again, Duke?
Oh, the Dank Jank. Yeah, yeah, that's on YouTube. It's the real Duke Diamond, on YouTube as well. But on that Linktree link, there's a link to the YouTube channel. There's a link to the Discord. There's a link to my bro's t-shirt shit, to where you can order like swag and stuff. Which in a couple weeks we're gonna make a new batch. We're gonna have the black multicam hoodies and everything. Um, some more shirts and stuff like that. So
You
that's
just
on there.
you just send that right
What?
on over, and I'm gonna get crazy with adding these below.
So you want me to send the links over, or
Send it
the
all.
hoodies?
Just send anything you got.
All right, you asked for it.
OG Tyler.
I don't have much more. I'm stoned.
Okay, can we talk about Binsky all together before we close this out?
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
gonna talk about it more next time.
yeah, no, it's it, my homegirl Emily who runs sales over there or does some
Hold on.
form of sales over there. She hooked you up with some goodies for you know.
I just want you all to see it because not only is this company, when I was head grower at Harmony Extracts, this was years ago though, is when Binsky was coming out and we used to do these really small events together. And it was cool because there were so many female, like, I hate to say this, gentlemen, no, I mean this delicately, but there were so many great female leaders involved with these companies. And I think your lady
Yeah.
is like so kind because look at this sexy packaging. Like my thing as like a business of any kind is like you want to make something that everybody wants to keep and doesn't want to throw away.
Yeah.
Look at that hummingbird. Look at that flamingo. Sorry, this is backwards.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
No, I mean I think having good packaging and good branding is a thing. You know,
Got weird.
Hell yeah.
I think that helps a
Brand
lot.
brand recognition, man. You don't want them getting confused with the other sea of shit, you know?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yes. And quality, to me, if you're going to put this kind of money into your packaging, unless you're complete, like, obviously you can see the hurt. Like, if you look into a jar, okay. Anyways, this is beautiful. And, like, they put the money and time into this great packaging.
No, yeah.
And
Yeah, they
they got to put the time and money into everything else.
yeah, I mean, they're a well-known company for their edibles, so I think having
We got
You know,
gummies.
having like a new line of like rosin and hash infused pre-rolls and I think that's a big thing now is like having hash in your joint, people are in the donut or whatever, like
You
people
got to
are,
do the
yeah,
snake.
man, people are getting in
Can't
there.
tank it if you don't snake it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever,
I feel like, Duke, have you ever messed with Binsky?
Pinsky or Binsky?
Hey, Jason.
Well, I could be messing this up, so I'm gonna go with yours over mine. Binsky?
Oh, I know Jason.
Jason Penske? Yeah.
Oh, not
Yeah.
Pinsky.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
not
okay.
Pinsky. We all love Pinsky though. Shout out to Pinsky. he's,
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
he's so
I
freaking
didn't know.
funny.
Like I'm hard of hearing, so like certain words. I'm like, hey, you're talking about Jason Penske and flamingos. That makes sense.
Yeah, that does
That's
make sense.
hilarious. So the last time I talked to Pinsky, real quick, is like I was laughing so hard because of his like side chops or whatever he had going on. Like he grew out his side beard. Anyways, it was just so funny. But he wasn't trying to be funny. It was like his normal style.
Oh yeah, straight up. Yeah, have a scarf on in the middle of July and shit.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. I know.
Oh, that's so funny. This is with a B. Instead of, it's Binske. But
Nice.
I want to, okay.
I pronounce it Binsk,
Well, shit.
but that's how I pronounce it.
Then say it.
I mean, that's how I pronounce it. But like, I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, some people pronounce
Binsk.
things differently.
No, because that
Tomato.
Exactly.
makes No, I think this is
Pinsky,
actually
Binsky.
Binsk.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that makes a lot more
you're
sense.
you're telling me because my dad's from England, and then like I'm hearing him say words that don't sound like they're pronounced differently than the way I'm used to. So it's like people got a weird way of saying things.
No, I just think I could have done this better, and I think that you were right.
They say garage in England instead of garage. So
Well,
They
yeah.
sure do. And mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they enunciate differently, man.
Yeah.
I've had a few friends from across the pond, man, and there in Iceland and all types of different places. They definitely got their own way.
Yeah, they do.
I feel like sometimes most times actually. I just really have a difficult time speaking. Like,
And opening childproof
yeah, you
packaging.
see that exactly. Can you just do this for
You
me
there's a
after? Okay, we
yeah.
might have to wait till
All
after.
right.
This is very difficult. So they passed their
That it
compliance like
works.
freaking great. Um, this is olive oil. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who doesn't use olive oil in like
You
everything?
gotta take a couple drops and drop her on in.
Just drop it and drop. Okay, let's see what kind of. This is garlic flavored.
Yeah.
Ooh, delicious. Total THC slash CBD. Okay, I know it's delicate out there. 87.9 milligrams. OMG.
You just give it a little. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Well, and then we got some pre rolls, which everybody hates on pre rolls, but if they're like good
They're hash
companies,
infused.
these
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
what solventless? You're right.
Yeah.
7.5 gram minis,
Yeah, the little
Stop it.
Yeah.
and it's like this cute little tin pack. Every girl needs this. I mean, everybody can have it, but I mean, like this. If you were gonna go into a dispensary for a girl for Valentine's Day, this is what you need to buy.
You're getting her some minis. You're getting her some chocolates, and you're getting her freaking
Hello, rosin.
yeah, a little maybe some flowers. Hopefully, if
Oh
you
my God, you
stand-up
can't come
guy.
back without flowers.
Duh.
That's like
And you
necessity.
need dozen red roses, some of them good ass chocolate, you know, at
Oh.
GRD or whatever's, you
Oh.
know.
Oh yeah, I know.
One time
Yeah,
when
you need bath bombs and candles,
Oh,
man, and the
bath
rest
bombs,
of
huh?
it's all gravy.
oh my
Shoot.
God, Lush. Who doesn't know about
I'm
Lush
getting a
and
bath
love
bomb
it?
for myself. I'm
So
sitting
good.
in there just bath bombing it up.
What's
Hell
that
yeah.
girl? We need to shout her out actually while we're
Who?
thinking about this. Is it essential? Oh, she's such a great woman. Hold on, you guys both know. I know you do. It's like she's from Denver. She makes all the little bath bombs and
Nope.
like
Don't know.
what? They sparkle. How do you not know?
Don't know.
Okay, next show. I'm so sorry.
I'm pretty sure Duke don't know either.
Well, this sucks. I wish I.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was trying to show. Okay, we need to. All right, gentlemen.
What?
Do you got anything else on your mind? I can't open any of this. Like they're
It's
super secure.
it's childproof.
All right.
You need a flathead screwdriver and a knife for those hard to handle tasks, you know.
You're right. I want to
Duke's
try.
just slamming
I was
it on
gonna
the
show-
ground. Probably. He's like, I'm slamming it on the ground. It's gonna open.
Yeah.
Uh,
Normally, like I'll sit there and like if I can't get it open, like at first I just put it down, slow my roll, really analyze it, look at it, and if I can't get it in like 10 seconds, then yeah, it's catching like a hammer or a knife or screwdriver or whatever. I'll get in it.
I feel you.
Hammer.
Sometimes I gotta like count. You know, when they said that as a child, they were like, you know, just chill, take a breath.
Count to three.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm
Sometimes
like,
it's
oh,
hard.
it's been 37 seconds. Don't.
Yeah, just let it out. Save yourself some time. Just get after it.
That's hilarious. Well, I think that we should all take one more dab, even though I said this.
My man D Money over there, he's chilling.
Well, I know, but Dude can always take a cheers of like, you need vitamins, you know? Like, so even if you drink like a shot of water, like it's so good and so hydrating. Just whatever. We just
Oh,
need to do
yeah.
a gathering together.
Yeah. When he comes into town.
Fine, OG Tyler. Whatever. It's because OG Tyler's ripped. I can see it in his
OG
eyes.
Tyler's like thinking about what he's gonna freaking get for food on the way home.
Whatever.
Oh,
Weak
100%.
sauce. What
Yeah.
are you gonna get? Just kidding.
There's not a lot open.
I'm just kidding.
Try T-Bell, man.
So let me tell you about the newer air fryers,
Please.
Oh,
like the
bro.
bigger ones,
Please.
dude. Yeah, man, they're so fucking great. Get you one of them. Pick up a steak on the way home. There's some Montreal steak seasoning on that sucker. Throw it in that jewel for like shit 8 minutes on a New York strip or something, maybe 9, and just low and slow, like hit it about fork. You know what? 420. 420 at this altitude seems to be just right.
I've been
Do
trying
that and yeah, man, get you some battered shrimps, some butterfly shrimp.
to. That sounds so good right
I
now.
could throw all my
Little,
leftovers in there and just recook it.
yeah,
Pizza.
man.
Want some shrimp and rice?
I could put me some French fries in there.
Hell yeah, yeah, man.
Oh, that's when you know the weed was good and everything we smoked.
No, I was gonna mention an air fryer earlier, but I was like, well, because I was like, we're talking about chickens or roosters, and I was like, I'm gonna get one of them chickens and throw them in the freaking air fryer.
I would have loved if you fried Lucky.
Yeah, I
Fuck
mean,
it. Air fried cock. Oh God.
That escalated so quickly.
well, ladies and
Lord.
gentlemen,
We should call it a night on that note.
that's all. That's all, folks.
All right. Well, we know OG Tyler's done. Okay. Well, Duke, I'm gonna call you. I'm probably gonna have to wrap this up just for a minute, but I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show tonight. Everybody really, really, I think should like and subscribe to our channel, even though I have a lot of improvement, to to do. You just bear with me.
Ah,
But
the rest of it's bells and whistles. As long as you're on there, as long as you're talking, and you're asking your questions about shit, people want to hear about, they're gonna keep listening. You know, and it's simple as that. And if they don't listen, then shit, they ain't your people anyway. Fuck
I
off.
like to hear. So
Yeah.
everybody's gotta follow and like and do all the things for all of us. And I'll put all the information down below in the bio. It's gonna be great.
All of it.
Oh yeah.
All of it. Send me everything.
All of
You
it.
got it. You got it. You got it. I'll give y'all the deluxe fucking spread.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much, Duke. And
Yeah, thanks for having me.
OG Tyler, you got anything?
I mean, all I gotta say is don't touch the tram.
Do not touch the shrimp.
Do not touch the tram.
My turn, Daddy.
My turn.